So here's a little update video. Dirty South has been done for about a week now. Some of you have probably seen the video I put up on YouTube at Regular Guy Cycling, which is what you're looking at now if you're looking at this video. Duh. During the past couple of months, my friend Gabe, who's a cyclist you saw in one of the videos, he has mentioned more than once that I should plan on doing a mountain bike race. There's one coming up April 29th at Lake Glendale in Southern Illinois. That is kind of a good time. It's 6 weeks from now. Timing wise, it's fine for me. I do have a big gravel race I'm doing in July, so I've got a little bit of a lull. My fitness is pretty good right now, so I think I can handle a gravel race. So I'm really seriously thinking about participating in that one. Full disclosure, I have done 2 mountain bike races in the past. It was 2021. There was the Catalyst Race Series down at Touch of Nature, which is down by Giant City State Park. They had a 3-race series. I did 2 out of the 3 races. I was new to mountain bike racing. I have ridden mountain bikes prior to that, but never racing, never serious riding. Mostly trails, Red Lake, Tunnel Hill, campground type stuff with the kids. And I had to get myself ready for that race, so I practiced on those trails a little bit and researched a little bit. I found out that I wasn't very good at taking turns fast on a mountain bike, so I researched extensively and learned quite a bit. So back then, 2021, I raced on this bike right here, which I bought new back in 2008. It was about a $320 bike at the time. You can see it's still got the original seat. Couple of changes since I bought this. When I was training for that race, I did crash once and I bent my handlebars, so I did upgrade the handlebars. I got wider bars with new grips on them. I have upgraded the pedals. I got some much better mountain bike pedals. Yes, I raced in flat pedals. I wasn't ready for mountain bike shoes clipping in, that kind of thing at that time. I've replaced the rear derailleur a couple of times, and the derailleur hanger, no, this has been once. The hanger has been 2 or 3 times probably. I've also changed the tires from the originals. These tires are about 5 years old now, and they're pretty good. They work fine. This bike is not real good for actual mountain biking. The shocks here, they either pop down or pop up. I've taken them apart and cleaned them and lubed them and all that stuff, and that's about the best I can get out of them. 26-inch wheels, which is pretty old school compared to what they have these days. For the second race in that series, I borrowed my daughter's bike, which is a 29-inch Trek. I bought this up in Springfield, what year was that, 2016 or so? It is a 29er, it's a hardtail. It has much better shock system than my other one does. It's got mechanical disc brakes. The geometry is a little bit off for me. It's a little too tight between the stem and the seat. So I sit way back in the seat and I push it all the way back. It's not bad, it's tolerable. So when I did those 2 races, the second time I raced on this one and I just felt a lot better. Having those 29-inch wheels, it has real good rubber on here. When I went to the bike shop and talked to him, I said, how do I get, maximize traction out of this bike? And these are the ones that he recommended, and they're great. Those are awesome tires. So it's a pretty decent setup. For this was, I think, a $500 bike, and I think it'll work fine. I really am not ready to invest in a new upgraded mountain bike. I think this will work for, just a race in 6 weeks. So this is what a 5 or 6 year old $500 bike looks like, and this is what a 15-year-old $300 bike looks like. I could do it on that if I had to. This is going to be better. For those of you that don't know me, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a doctor of physical therapy by training and trade. I've been a licensed physical therapist since 2004. I was an Army physical therapist. Before that, I was a field artilleryman. I ended up doing a total of 20 years in the Army before I retired. I still work as a physical therapist. Now, neither of those qualifications make me a superhero on the bike, but I'll tell you what it does give me. It gives me a desire to plan things as well as I can. I research things extensively. I do a lot of reading. I get a lot of information before I jump into something. So I have looked to the end of the internet and the ends of YouTube on topics like gravel racing and mountain biking and cornering and all those things. So I've learned a lot from that process, but then it still takes practice. And so that's what will be needed in these next 6 weeks. Other things I'll need in the next 6 weeks if I'm going to do this mountain bike race is I'll need to recon the course and just see where the tough spots are for me, where the challenges will be, what areas I can full send in, what areas I need to hold back. I also need to re-energize my strength training program. Gravel racing does take a little bit upper body stuff, but mountain biking is completely different. Having done a couple of them, I know that much, that upper body strength and core strength is really important to be successful. You can have the greatest legs in the world, but if your upper body fatigues, if your hands start to fatigue, your wrists start to fatigue, your shoulders and chest start to fatigue, it really impacts your ability to continue to do well and feel comfortable and confident on the bike. One of the things I learned in the military was when you plan something out, sometimes you have a very little bit of time. You give an operation, you might have hours or a couple of days to plan for something. And sometimes you have a whole year to plan for something. So for something like the Dirty South, I had several months to plan and prepare and organize myself and try my gear and change things up for that. 6 weeks, I can do, I think, quite a bit in 6 weeks. I need to maintain my fitness, but then I need to practice a few things and make sure my gear is right and my skills are in the right place. So that's what I learned in the military, is you plan with the time and the details that you have. So let me show you how I normally train for something and prepare. So this is my Dirty South training calendar from this last year. I really started in October. This starts in November, but really October I was doing some strength training and just having a little bit of fun on the bike, riding with my friends in the local groups. And once I get in November, then I really started tracking my training. I started with an FTP right at the beginning, so October 29th was 251. So I knew how to plan my training and what zones to train in as I went through the months. So that's what November looked like. I kind of plan out what kind of effort level I'm going to have in those weeks, because I do follow kind of a block periodization format. At the end of the week, I track how many hours I put in. So that's what November looked like. And I take a lot of notes and changes and things I need to work on. Here's what December looked like. You can see, so I did about 7 weeks of mostly zone 2 endurance riding, and then I started bringing in more of my other efforts, threshold work and VO2 max work. Here I'm in January. I did another FTP test, January 7th. I did a video on that one, so 266 FTP, and that really drove the rest of my training as I did more VO2 max and more threshold type training, leading all the way to the Dirty South, which was here. So again, as someone who likes to plan things out, this is what I do. Keeps me sane, gives me focus. Here's my calendar from now through July. So this was this past week, just doing some easy stuff, recovering from the race, which was here. I haven't really mapped out what I'm going to do, but I already have an idea what it'll look like in the next 6 weeks. So Lake Glendale, see, I'm already taking notes on what I need to work on. So Lake Glendale, the 29th here. So I have whatever that is, about 6 weeks to prepare for that. I will really do a lot more strength training during that time, which here I did strengthening October, November, December, then I really tapered off in January and February. Now this time I'll do strength training. I'll try to do it all the way through here, and I'll keep on going with that, of course, because my big key race is going to be in July, the Dust Bowl 100. I've done 100-mile rides many times. I've never done a 100-mile race, and that's going to be a gravel race. So not lots of elevation, not lots of technical stuff, but still a long distance to be racing. So that's my key for this training period from March through July, with one possible mountain bike race in the middle here. So as I go through the coming weeks and prepare for this mountain bike race, and if there's 3 options like that, again, I'll probably go for the 20-mile range. My fitness is fine. I just need to maintain it, and I just need to work on tweak a few things and make sure my gear is going to be okay for that. So 20 miles ish is whatever's available. That's probably what I'll be going for. I'll post a couple of videos of my training process. I won't post everything. I don't really like to do that. But if it's something different that I haven't shown you yet, or there's something novel about it, or I'm learning something new or trying something new, I might take a video of that and maybe put that up on the channel. So for those of you that are interested in mountain biking, from someone who is not a mountain bike racer, you might be able to see the process I went through, at least get an idea of the process I went through to prepare for one with the 6 weeks that I have and the gear that I have available to me. So, wish me luck.